Amid ongoing peace talks between Ukraine and Russia, the Ukrainian army has announced a significant military setback on December 23, marking one of the most critical developments in recent weeks. According to officials, Ukraine's general staff confirmed that Kyiv's forces have officially withdrawn from the city of Siversk, located in the embattled Donetsk Oblast, following intense fighting in the region. The general staff stated that, although heavy combat continues in the surrounding areas of Siversk, Ukrainian soldiers have now fully evacuated the city to avoid further losses. Military leaders explained that this withdrawal was a strategic decision made to save the lives of troops and to preserve the overall combat readiness and effectiveness of their units on the front line. The Ukrainian command further acknowledged that the Russian military was able to advance into Siversk primarily because of their numerical advantage and the sheer volume of personnel and equipment they deployed. It added that Russian forces have been maintaining relentless pressure through small but frequent assault groups, often operating under harsh weather conditions that make combat even more grueling. Ukraine's general staff released a statement on Telegram, and I quote, "The city remains under the fire control of our troops. The occupiers remaining in the city are being defeated and their logistics are being cut off. Enemy units are being blocked to prevent their further advance." Earlier, Ukraine's 7th Air Assault Corps had described the situation near Siversk as extremely difficult, emphasizing the scale of the ongoing clashes in the area. This grim update came as Russian forces continued their attempt to push across the Siversky Donetsk River, intensifying combat in an already volatile region. The 7th Air Assault Corps also released a video that purportedly shows Russian troop movements, underscoring how fierce and active the battlefront remains. According to the Kyiv Independent, the city of Siversk plays a crucial role in Ukraine's defense strategy for the northern part of Donetsk Oblast, serving as a key tactical position. Reports suggest that Siversk acts as a protective shield for the larger urban centers of Sloviansk and Kramatorsk, helping Ukraine hold critical territory in the east. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has described the ongoing US-led peace negotiations as quite solid at this stage, signaling cautious optimism from Kyiv. Russian and Ukrainian negotiators have held separate rounds of discussions with US officials in Miami, aiming to move the dialogue forward. However, the Kremlin has downplayed the significance of these Miami talks, cautioning that they should not be viewed as a major breakthrough in the peace process. US Special Envoy Stephen Witkoff characterized the meetings as productive and constructive, suggesting meaningful engagement but no immediate resolution. Despite the progress, key issues such as territorial control and long-term security guarantees continue to divide both sides, making future negotiations complex and uncertain. It's important to note that Russia has repeatedly demanded territorial concessions, while Ukraine insists on securing vital defense and security assurances before making any agreements. Adding to the political tension, US Vice President J.D. Vance reiterated that President Donald Trump will not ship money off to Ukraine.
Ukraine, can you give an update on the talks that took place this past weekend, and could a trilateral discussion of sort be the next step for Ukrainian, U.S. and Russian delegations?
So the talks in Ukraine, Russia are going along. They lost, as you know, 27,000 soldiers last month, mostly soldiers, some people in Kyiv, etc., but mostly soldiers. And the talks are going along. And I say that, there's tremendous hatred between these two leaders. Between President Putin, President Zelensky, tremendous hatred, and I hope we can get it done. We are talking. Talks are going okay. But, I've solved 8 wars, and Thailand is starting to shape up. They started with Cambodia. They started up again. But I think, Marco, we have that in pretty good shape to have that stopped. So we stopped 8 wars, and I thought this would be in the middle of the pack, but maybe easy, but in the middle of the pack. But there's a lot of hatred between those two people, and when there's hatred, there's...
Fellow Ukrainians, today, our negotiating team is returning after meetings in the United States with envoys of President Trump, and tomorrow morning, I expect a full briefing on the documents that have been prepared. A great deal of work has been done, first and foremost, on documents concerning security guarantees, as well as the 20 points of the main document, the basic framework discussed by the Ukrainian and American delegations. Rustem Umerov and Andriy Natov will present their reports tomorrow. It is important that the American side be able to elicit a response from Russia, a genuine willingness by that state to focus on something other than aggression. Of course, after so many years, first of hybrid warfare and now of full-scale war, it is hard to believe that Putin is capable of living without killings and invasions. However, a reduction in the price of Russian oil, strong global sanctions, and the continuation of all other forms of pressure are precisely what will persuade even such a stubborn person. Putin wages war as long as he has the money to buy the loyalty of his inner circle and the Russian population, while at the same time paying for killings on the front line. And over the past year, much has already been done to reduce the amount of money available to the Russian war machine. I am grateful to all our warriors for the deep strikes. There are results almost every single day now. This is especially evident in deep strikes targeting Russia's oil exports. It is good that the European Union, America, and other partners are putting pressure on Russia's gas and oil exports. Tankers that Russia uses to finance the war and bankroll Putin's cronies are increasingly encountering problems in key maritime areas. There will also be new global sanctions against tankers and the entire infrastructure behind such exports, companies, insurers, captains, and crews, of course. We are also preparing new sanctions packages against various individuals, not only Russian, who are working for the aggressor's defense industry. And our sanctions proposals are always taken into account by our partners. This is one of the priorities of our foreign policy, to ensure that Ukrainian sanctions are synchronized with those of our partners. Today, I reiterated these very tasks to Ukrainian diplomats, congratulated them on their professional day and thanked everyone who is genuinely working for our foreign policy, for ensuring that Ukraine is effective in international affairs, because this is now one of the foundations of our defense. Ukraine's strength lies in unity with the world, and we have now reached the highest level of this unity. Never before in its history has Ukraine had as much support from partners as it does today. Achieving this level was not easy, just as it is not easy to keep the world's attention on Ukraine month after month, despite everything. We did not allow Ukraine to be forgotten. We did not allow other topics and challenges to overshadow attention to Ukraine. The societies of our partners support us, our state, our defense, and this matters. It gives us the strength to defend ourselves. Today, I also had the honor of thanking our Ukrainian energy workers, all our heroes who overcome Russia literally every day through their work. They restore power generation. They restore the power supply. They restore normal life for Ukrainians. And Ukraine truly can be proud of the professionalism of our energy workers. Thank you. And one more thing. Today, we spoke with the chairman of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, Ruslan Stefanchuk. Among other things, I asked Ruslan, together with the members of parliament, as well as government officials and representatives of civil society, to prepare proposals for defining new and logical approaches to holidays and special dates in our calendar. There are unfortunate calendar coincidences, and the war has introduced many such changes. When days of tragedy fall on professional holidays, or when, dating back to Soviet times and the early years of independence, several entirely different professional holidays fall on the same day. All of this needs to be put in order. We thank everyone who will help with this. Just as the celebration of True Christmas was easily accepted on December 25th, other dates should likewise be fair and appropriate. Thank you to everyone who works for our state and our people. Glory to Ukraine.